Hey, what's up, sluts? So I just finished all the shit that I had to get done for today, and so I figured it'd be a bit cathartic to take your dumbass topics and try and turn them into something even moderately entertaining for you as you're bored walking your dog or doing whatever the hell you do while you watch these videos. Most likely not even paying attention to the video since it's completely inconsequential, and playing Call of Duty. Which, by the way, a little side note there, I don't talk about COD much, if at all, but the new zombie map, I really don't care for it too much. I really just don't like it. They went out of their way to make it impossible to kite the zombies, which makes sense because they're trying to make it harder, but at the same time, you have to give us a place where we can kite the zombies if you're going to make this structure of a map where it's entirely contingent on running around, getting these pieces, putting them together to get the gun, which, first of all, two big middle fingers to whatever fucking idiot was sitting in the Treyarch place and was like, hey, bouncing ideas off each other like I imagine. Just being like, hey, do you think the players would enjoy a new zombie gun out of the mystery box? And they're like, oh, no, 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 no. Players have much more fun when they have to run around and pick up pieces and then go and construct this zombie gun and usually get killed while they're trying to build it. And then they love that. Players love that. They respond to it. They really enjoy all of the tediousness because, people play Call of Duty for the tediousness of it. They don't, get done with homework or get done with work and want to unwind with a simple game of zombies. They want to think and have to just deal with it and stress out and get fucking pissed. And so, two highfalutin middle fingers to whatever fuckhead thought that they should put the special gun, which isn't even that cool, by the way, the Sliquify or whatever, not even that cool. They wouldn't even put it in the box. Come on, that's just freaking lazy. They could have spent the time it took to make that big, overly complicated map, broken it up, and instead made 3 reasonably sized maps, or hell, make one smaller map, but put new guns in it, put a new perk in it, and don't put a perk in it called Who's Who, that all it lets you do is appear as a version of yourself from round 1 with a pistol who only takes 2 hits to take down, and then it just puts you right next to your body, essentially, and so you're fucked. You're fucked. It doesn't work. So that's my little, I guess, bickering for the day about that, but now let's get into your topics and whatever the hell you said. Okay. Clown shoes. Choosing between 2 women. That shouldn't be hard. Just flip a coin, and let's say you want to get with Clarissa on the one side or Sarah on the other side. Flip it, and in the middle of that flip, you'll know exactly who you want because you'll be hoping for one of the sides of the coin to land. That works for a lot of things, by the way. Lazy guy won Wazam. Excuse me, still have a cough. Lazy guy won Wazam. Do you like dubstep? Sometimes, but usually it's a little bit too intense. If it's like a chill, is Pretty Lights dubstep? I don't know. I think they're just electronic. I'm not big on the differentiation of genres, but yeah, I guess I do. I guess it's pretty alright. Roger Cham, 102. Lord of the Rings books for Song of Ice and Fire. Song of Ice and Fire is a much better book series of books and a much better show series than the movies Lord of the Rings. So, 2 for 2 there, Mr. Song of Ice and Fire. Luna Designs, you have a backup channel, you remember that, right? Actually, I don't. I'm pretty sure I deleted it because I never uploaded there, and there was just no point to it. Like, I don't have a big enough fan base that it's worthwhile to make subsections of it for, particular interests. It just doesn't work like that. So, yeah, I know I had one, but I don't anymore. And if you're still subscribed to it, then, I guess I haven't been there in so long, I didn't even know it was still there. Alex Kusher, losing your virginity. I've talked about this plenty of times. The way they portray losing your virginity in movies like American Pie and stuff like that, they always make it out to be so awkward and so ridiculous. And the truth is, unless you're just like a fucking weirdo and you just can't get a rhythm down or something like that when you're having sex, it's going to come naturally. It's one of those things, like, you don't have to remind yourself to eat every day. You don't have to be like, oh my goodness, I need to eat, Just like that, you don't need to really figure out how to have sex. Like, you need to figure out, the intricacies of it, like, finger banging, as South Park would say, or oral or eating out, all that stuff. You need to figure that out over time. But the actual act of having sex, you're going to jump into it and know what you're doing pretty much, as long as you don't have some weird motions or like a micro dick or something like that. Like, it's not as bad as people think. I thought the first time I was going in to have sex that it was just going to be the most embarrassing, awkward, like, taken forever, or not taken forever, not taken long enough, and I was so worried about that what happened to me is what happens to a lot of guys, is they're so nervous about finishing early that they just pretty much can't finish, and it takes them forever, and it gets really annoying. So, don't stress about it, bro. If you haven't lost your virginity yet, that's okay. I guess unless you're like 40 years old. But then, hey, you can go talk to a movie producer and make a really funny sequel to that Steve Carell movie. which I should watch, by the way. I haven't seen that in a while. Unsavvy Gamer, an update of the situation with that awkward girl in class would be cool. No real update. I went into that class again this past Tuesday, or yesterday rather, and I just sat on a different side of the room, so she couldn't do anything awkward with me, and then I left quickly right after that. And so there we go. No update. Black Masta 7. The attractiveness of penis versus vagina. Well, I can't really answer this, because I'm a straight dude, and so naturally, I'm like, oh yeah, I like vagina. But a straight chick is way more likely to be like, oh yeah, I like dick, and they'll probably think vaginas are a little bit grosser. It's just all about personal preference. I guess you'd have to ask someone who was like 100%, like 50-50, 100% 50-50, does that make sense? Down the line, bisexual, and see what they thought about that. But even then, I'm sure that the guys who are bisexual will be like, oh yeah, I like vagina a little bit more, and the chicks who are bisexual will be like, oh yeah, I like penis a little bit more. But who knows? I'm not in that boat, so I can't really answer. Would you rather go without internet for the rest of your life or go without sex for the rest of your life? I'd much rather go without internet. Much rather go without internet. Rochi, if you could appear on one TV show, what would it be? I would want to be on It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia. I love that show. It's hilarious in every conceivable way. So much of it you can tell when you watch it is improv, and they're just, goofing around with friends, having a good time. And Danny DeVito's hilarious. I definitely pick It's Always Sunny. Jack Foley, Gandalf vs. Dumbledore. I'm going to file that under the don't give a fuck section of these questions, and I'm going to move on. Just kidding, just being a dick. But let's say Gandalf, because I know there are probably way more Harry Potter fans than Lord of the Rings ones out there, and that'll get a bunch of you to make dumb comments like, no, but what about the spondiferous spell that Dumbledore can do, or whatever the hell. Sandman Man, the fact that you're an asshole for not calling me a slut. I called you a slut like 3 minutes ago, you douchebag, so why don't you pay attention? Too easy to say it. Growing stupidity in a globalized world, having a serious lack of intelligent conversations in college. There are plenty of... the people nowadays are more intelligent than they have been in history ever. We're more educated. We have access to information more readily. Think about just even 50 years ago. Well, even 30 years ago. You want to do a research essay, you got to go to the library and pour through volumes of text to try and figure out and garner information. Nowadays, you can just open that text as a PDF file online and then Control F for whatever thing you're looking for, and bada bing, bada boom, you got it. So I disagree with that. I don't think people are increasingly stupid. I just think that we've made stupidity a novelty where it's not so much shamed for being stupid anymore. It's like, oh, he's funny, he's goofy, he's just kind of stupid. Like, it's glorified in reality TV and all that, but for the most part, I'm pretty sure most people watch that kind of shit so they can feel better about themselves and be like, oh yeah, like I'm kind of a dick sometimes, but look at these Jersey Shore assholes, my goodness, stuff like that. And intelligent conversations in college, it all depends on who you're hanging out with. If you're hanging out with dumb people, you're going to have dumb conversations. Tate Steven, what species of animal would you like to have sex with? No, I'm not even going to touch that. Melkiladager. God damn it, guys, send actual topics and questions. So many of these are just half-assed phrases that don't make any goddamn sense. Oisin 1, 2, a lot of numbers. 44 minutes too late, well, talk about bunk beds. Well, guess what, sir? I was lazy and started from the top of the list, so all the people who are really adamant about sending me questions immediately, they're probably not going to get gotten to in this episode. So, the early bird gets the worm, but the late period gets the baby. Is that what it is? I have no idea. Okay. Bunk beds, they're pretty cool if you're 11, but, the last time I slept in a bunk bed was freshman year in my college dorm, and it was just weird, thank goodness I was in the bottom bunk, but I just didn't like it, because my roommate would jump out of the bed every morning like he was a stunt man in a movie, and he would, slam his feet on the ground really loud, and it was just a bad way to wake up. It was, just a stressful thing for me, aside from the fact that you're sleeping in a bunk bed with another adult, and I just don't care for it. Haze for days. What's the biggest explosion fire you have seen IRL? Also throbbing phalli. I have no idea. I've seen a couple of really big bonfires before, but I don't think I've ever seen a big explosion, just fireworks and stuff like that. Throbbing phalli. If your phalli is throbbing, then you should go to the bathroom and take care of it. And, it won't take long. Get off the internet for a few minutes, or rather stay on the internet to take care of that. It has a lot of beneficial sites you can go to relieve that throbbing. Cookie, bunch of numbers. The recent bushfires and now floods in Australia. If I'm being 100% honest, I barely even knew that was happening, and I really don't give two fucks because I live in the United States and it has no bearing on me at all. Just like you can say if you're an Australian subscriber to me, be like, oh, you douche, you should care at least a little bit, but what would you say if I was like, how do you feel about all the tornadoes in the Midwest right now, tearing through cities? You might feign interest and be like, oh, it's terrible, but in the back of your head, you'd be like, I don't give two shits. I'm on the other side of the world. So that's exactly what I'm saying. Drew M. King. Who'd win in a fight, a guy with no arms or a guy with no legs? Definitely a guy with no legs. The guy with no arms, well, I don't know. If the guy with no arms caught one of the legs as he was trying to kick him, then he could easily just trip the guy, and then he's on the ground and he can't get up because he doesn't have any arms, and you just beat him, you know? It all depends on that first kick. Jackoman55, your sycophantic followers, which includes me. It's nice. It's nice to have followers like you guys who you just get off on the fact that I'm just a dick to you, and you seem to enjoy it. And I think that you guys enjoy that is because almost every other YouTuber out there, and almost every other person of any, I don't want to say fame because I'm not even remotely famous, but go to a concert, go to a comedy show, go to anything, and constantly every performer is just pandering to you, just saying like, oh, this is a great city, I love it so much more, oh, you guys are just the best audience, and you guys are looking good tonight, give yourself a hand. Just stupid shit like that, and I hate it, and it's probably a little bit refreshing for you guys to have someone just say, no, fuck you, I'm not gonna pretend, you know, I'm not gonna pretend. But that also is contingent on the fact that I'm not really making a living out of this. This is just fun for me. And so if I was a huge Justin Bieber-like star, I would definitely be like, oh yeah, all you 13-year-old girls, you're looking good tonight, you're looking cute. All right, now, oh, I guess I'm handcuffed now because I just said a bunch of 13-year-olds are cute. But, yeah, I guess that's why it's kind of bolstered that feeling of you guys liking being made fun of. It's because it's one of the only places you can come on the internet, or at least from the other channels I watch, which aren't that many, where people just I don't pander to you. I don't really give a shit what you say in the comment section. Like, if you're just ragging on me and making fun of me, I'm not going to pretend that I'm so stoic. I'm just like, oh yes, that guy called me a dick-faced douchebag and called me out on some legitimate criticisms. I'm just going to look the other way. But for the most part, I like this environment. It's better. Alright, well, that's all I'm doing for now. I'll continue on these at my next available time, I suppose. But until then, don't even bother rating and favoriting, because it doesn't really matter. It doesn't even matter. Alright, you guys have a good evening, and I love you.